Okay, in this video we're going to show you how to empty and check the water catch, but also we're going to show you how to refill oil in this clear bulb right here on the left. That one right there. So first thing we're going to do is make sure the machine is off. We're going to hit the emergency stop so that we can move the carousel if we need to, and we're going to turn the power to the machine off. All right. And also we want to make sure we put on some gloves and safety glasses. This is the oil that we're going to be using for the Sportsman. And we're going to get set up. So I'm going to put on the gloves and safety glasses, and then we're going to get down here below the machine. Okay, so the first thing we're going to check is to see if any water was captured in this water catch. That prevents it from going into the actual system. So at the bottom here, there's a little button. It's not always going to be on the back side. Sometimes it's on the front, and sometimes it's actually a screw that you can turn counterclockwise, and it'll allow whatever water's inside to push out. This one here has an actual button, so I'm going to press it and you'll hear air come out of it. So there's no water in these lines, which is a good thing. So we can move on to the next step. We need to fill this bulb with oil. You can see it's very, very low. If there's no oil in here, then the system is not intaking any oil. The purpose of that is to keep the lines protected. This will automatically drip oil into the system. There's an interval setter right here. It's preset already when it's installed, so I wouldn't adjust it. You can see it has been using the oil, and that's why it's so low. But we need to make sure we add more oil in here. There's a minimum fill line, and it's far below the minimum fill line. There is also a max fill line, but we're gonna just fill it somewhere in between. So the first thing we need to do is cut the air to the system. Now, even though I shut this valve, there's still air in the system and it's still pressurized. So we're gonna actually remove all the air from the system. You can do that a couple different ways. You could hold this button, but it'll take a long time because it only lets a little bit of air out at a time. Or you can actually turn this knob counterclockwise all the way until it starts depressurizing the system. You just have to make sure that when you do let air back into the system, then you're turning this clockwise again to get it back up to pressure. We'll show you that at the very end of the video. So first we're gonna depressurize the system, and we're gonna keep twisting this until air comes out, and you can start to hear it. And you can see this dial dropping as I'm turning it backwards. So we're just gonna let that run for a while until that black dial goes all the way to the bottom and you no longer hear any air coming out. Okay, so the system is now depressurized. You can see that dial's all the way to the bottom. So now we're going to remove this bulb. The first thing you're gonna do is release this latch right here, and then we're gonna turn it. Should be able to turn it either left or right. Yeah. And it'll drop down. So here you can see the minimum oil level and the maximum oil level. So we're gonna fill it, you know, either halfway or just above halfway, and then we're gonna put it back into the holder. Be careful not to spill. There we go. We're right above the halfway point. And to put it in, we're going to just do the opposite of what we did earlier. So there's a little line here, and you can line that up with one of the notches, I believe. Yep. Push upwards and turn. There you go. It should click back in place. Make sure it's secured. So now the next step is we're going to shut this valve a little bit so that when we start letting air back into the system, it doesn't spill out, because this is in the open position right now, and that's how we depressurized it, but we want to close that back up again. So we're going to turn this, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, 8 turns. We'll try that first, and then we're going to slowly let air back into our system. All right, so we're going to open this all the way up. You can see the air level here. Earlier, we actually had it at the, I believe it was the 0.6 bar line, which is 2 notches above that green area. So we're going to get it back to the same spot by turning this clockwise. This is the regulator. This will regulate how much pressure it allows into the system at the max. So right there, we're at the green, and we're going to go 2 settings right above that. Almost there. There. So that's pretty much the setting we were at earlier. And now we're good to run the machine.